the cloud. Great. Okay. Well, thank you all for joining. We look forward to discussions. Ken, are you ready? We're going to start with Ken Gibson's has got some books that many familiar with some of the work that he's done in the past in terms of the history of the club, and he's one of the original members of that. And Bill Wood, who's one of the founding members, the very first meeting of the club 50 years ago was at Bill Wood's house in May of 1975. And Ken has some books that Bill had. So Ken, we'll turn it over to you.
Okay. Well, like Peter said, Nancy and I have been around for a year or two with the club, and Lynn and Bill Wood were dear, dear friends of ours, and they're a little less than an hour from where we live. And their daughter, we call her Buffy, but Elizabeth or Beth Wood is living in their house in Egremont, Massachusetts. Okay. And she had given us a call last week and said that her husband, who lives down in the Virginia area, is finally, they're going to move their entire household up to Egremont, and they had to make room in the house. So she wanted to part with some books, and Nancy and I went down this past Saturday, and we came back with over 250 books that Bill had accumulated. So I told her I would do my best to try to sell these for her. Now, and what I have done is I spent most of Sunday after church making a list of anything that might interest members of the Healey Club. And I've got them divided into Big Healey, Sprite, Lucas / BMC, and then general sports car books. And I have it in a PDF on my file. And what you can do is email me if you're interested in any of these books, and I will send you the list with the price on it. Yeah, the only thing you should know is that the prices that are on this list do not, I underline, do not include shipping. But if you don't want to pay for shipping and you want to hold them until some, well, you know, like Cape Cod this fall, you can do that too, or you can come to my house or pay for shipping. So just a small sampling of what I have available. Or there's an original BN7 and BT7 handbook original. There's an original BJ8 driver's handbook. There's two 1953 BN1 owner's handbook. There's two BN1 factory service manuals. And then there's things like Floyd Kramer's Healey owner handbooks. Then there's some books such as Automobile Quarterly. There's like 4 copies that actually had articles in there on the 104. Then getting into the Sprites, there's handbooks, there's hardcover books like from John Sprinsel, Sprightly Years, published in 1994. The super profile for Austin-Healey Frog Eye Sprites. So, and again, this is just a sampling. Then under Lucas and BMC, there's the 1960 BMC service tool catalog, Lucas quality equipment catalog, 1974 Lucas Fast Moving Parts, 1977 Lucas Fast Moving Parts. There's a book on Weber carburetors for Heelys, stuff like that. And then
Well,
getting
Ken, can you just give us kind of a range of what you're looking for price wise for these books? Just
Sure.
not the details, but you know, hundreds or tens or twenties or
No, very, very, very inexpensive. Before I tell you some prices, I will tell you one of the things that I did in the far right-hand column. On a scale of 1 to 10, I mean 1 to 5, I gave a condition of the piece also, 5 being pristine. And almost everything, the worst is a number 3, but most of the stuff is about a 4. So the most expensive item is an original BN1 service manual in number 4 condition, $30. That's
Okay.
the most expensive thing on the entire list.
No problem.
So
Okay. Well, and again, Ken, if you'd like, so obviously anyone who's interested to see, get with Ken. But if you send me that PDF file, you know, I will be able to share that with our members as well.
okay, all right. And just so you know, Beth doesn't want any money for this, but I don't want any money for this. So this money will be going back to her, so she can maintain the last foreign car Bill had, which she has on the road, which is a TD MG. So this money is going to her.
Great.
Can you give us your email address, Ken?
Okay, it's a real toughie. It's kengypson@yahoo.com. KENGYPSON @yahoo.com. And my wife just gave me a note. It's not a PDF file, it's a Word document. Sorry
Okay,
about
that's fine.
my miss. Well, the boss corrected me, so.
And that was Ken Fleming who was asking about your email address, Ken Gibson.
Okay. Yeah.
Yep. So well, great.
And
Okay.
and there are another probably 150 books that are all car related and motorcycle related. That's not on the list. So if you have a particular interest, you know, let me know. In particular, Bill's 2 dream cars were a 300 SL Gullwing, which he never acquired. His other dream car was a Ford GT40, which he did have one at one time. So there's books on that. There's you know, Carroll Shelby registers. And then the other thing that Bill was very, very interested in was Ford police cars. And I actually have factory sales literature from 1955 up until I believe about 1978, all factory sales literature for Ford police cars, along with blueprints on how to install emergency equipment, you know, like the spotlight through the windshield post, how to mount lights on the top. And this is all Ford Motor Company stuff. So a lot of interesting stuff. And it was, I don't know, it was a two-edged sword. It was, you know, it was kind of exciting seeing this stuff, but sad that Bill and Lynn are no longer with us. So
Sure. Right. Well, thank you, Ken.
Any further questions? You can either ask me now or just send me an email.
Did Bill ever get any of his 100Ss running?
Oh, yes. Yep. I think the one that he worked on the most and actually got to drive was Jackie Cooper's car, which was the only green 100S. And that car actually resold about 3 years ago for $1.4 $5 million.
Because he brought it to Cape Cod to one of the meetings there on a trailer while he was doing it.
Do you remember if it was a green one or one of the white ones?
I think it was a white one.
Okay. Well, he had three S's at different given times.
Actually, no, he had a lot more than that. When I visited him and bought the one behind me here, he had 5 of them in his garage.
Yeah, but they weren't all his.
No, true. But there were 5 of them in the garage.
All S's?
Yeah, all S.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and the Healey Fiesta.
Oh, he had a
Oh, yeah.
Fiesta. Wow.
Yes.
And a Sebring Sprite.
Yeah.
Excellent.
And Michael, I found something in there that you might be interested in. Was I guess you had some equivalent of the SCCA in Ontario. Well, there's a entrance book in there that I set aside for you.
Great. Thanks, Ken.
Yep.
So, okay. Well, again, if anyone has any other questions, Ken's provided that information for you. And if you send me the Word file, Ken, we can get it out on our website as well.
Okay, super. Thank you.
Well, thank you. Rob Moore, you said you had a couple questions for us. You're on mute at the moment, but we'll start off with your questions first.
Okay, thank you, Pete.
Sure.
I'm trying to figure out what the actual measurements are for the battery cable that runs from the trunk to the solenoid post. I researched it, through the various forums, but I couldn't come up with an exact measurement. I'm trying to match it up to an off-the-shelf Deca battery cable that's already pre-made, so to speak.
And again, this is on a BT7, right, Rob?
Yes, sorry, BT7, yes. So I didn't know if anybody, worst comes to worst, next time I'm up in Vermont, I'll just pull the old one out and actually measure it. But since I'm 300 miles away from the car, I thought if anybody knew what that dimension was, I would just get it ready for the next time I'm up there to just pop it in.
Rhode Island Wiring would be able to tell you.
Okay.
Yep. The other one is British Wiring, maybe another one too. They're one of our sponsors for Summit this year as well.
Okay, thank you. And the other,
Anyone else happen to know lengths of that? Okay.
You could probably look it up on
Sponsors.
one of these Lucas books that I got.
yeah, I did look in the parts manual and I searched that part number, but it didn't plug me into any dimensions or anything. The other question I had, Pete, relates to the engine bay. And my car was missing the splash shields, which I've now gotten some. And my understanding is those are supposed to be painted the same color as the exterior of the car on a BT7.
Yep. Body color.
And so I'm wondering if rather than having to, spray them myself or hire somebody to spray them, does anybody know of a vendor who makes rattle cans for small parts like that that are in the body colors?
What color is your car?
Pacific green.
Okay.
Automotive touch up I've gotten paints from them in the past for a number of things, and they match up very well. And you can get them in small, you get us rattle cans, all kinds of stuff for them. So it's automotive touch up, and they match up very well. So and they have records that go back. I needed paint for my TVR, which was painted in 1972, and they had the 1972 Lincoln Moondust paint for it, and it matched up perfectly.
Wow.
Wow.
So
And
No, Rob, is your car original paint or has it been repainted?
no, I repainted it.
Do you know it was painted back to the proper shade of green?
Well, I did it myself in the early 80s, and I basically took a chip to the local paint store and they matched it as best they could. I mean,
Okay.
I had the code, but they didn't have access to that.
Yep. And obviously today they're much more efficient. Ken Gibson, were you gonna say something?
Yeah, did you do it in lacquer or enamel?
Enamel.
Okay, then you won't have any problem getting a rattle can with enamel in it.
Okay.
And if push comes to shove, we have a place here just across the river from Troy, where I live, called Passano Paints, and they'll match up any color you want and put it in rattle cans.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Yeah,
And
my local hardware store will put anything you want in a rattle can. So it's something that if you ask around, this is an Ace Hardware. Ask around. It's not a complicated procedure.
Okay. I didn't realize that. The only other question I have is there's apparently two stay brackets that help hold those splash shields in place. And I was looking in the Concours manual. I couldn't find what color those are supposed to be. Are they supposed to be satin black like much of the other stuff?
I think they're body color as well. Isn't that right? Michael's shaking his head.
Good question. Very good question.
Yeah, I mean, I know the radiator air surround is satin black. And these are pretty close to that, but I don't know.
You have the brackets?
I have the brackets.
Okay.
They're rust colored, Peter.
Well, I do have a spare set that I had came off my BJ8, and they are body color. They're British
they
Racing
are.
Green.
Oh,
They're
okay.
British. Well, I'm not. The car had been restored, so I'm not sure if it was restored properly. But it was done by Highland Automotive, who I know Ted Cryer is very familiar with, Gabe Del Judas, and so those those brackets on the ones that I have are body color.
Well, that would make sense.
Hmm.
Well, that's all I have. Thank you very much.
Well, anyone else have any other input to that in terms of what those brackets should be?
no, but what is Rob's last name?
Moore,
Rob?
Moore.
Rob Moore.
Yeah,
He
usually
lives
it's
in Needham, right? Needham, is that right, Rob?
Needham, yes.
Yep. I was born in Needham, Rob.
Were you?
Glover Memorial Hospital.
How could you ever leave, Peter?
My parents moved to Medfield.
Of course, people ask me how I ever moved away from Vermont too, but that's another story.
Different subjects. So.
Yeah.
Are there other questions this evening?
I've got, yeah,
Mike?
when we met the other day, we were talking about the rebuilding my carburetor or renewing all the seals and stuff. So I understand that you can get sets or overhaul sets from just about anybody. Is it a complicated thing? And are there some, University of YouTube recommendations of how to remove the carburetors on my BJ8 and or just replace the seals? Because I don't know if they have to be, but it's probably been 25 years since they've been touched. So I'm wondering, is that a good idea to proactively redo the carbs, or should I wait until something fails? And how complicated is it? And where can I get some visual lessons on how to do it?
So how well is the car running, Mike?
It's running quite well. It's right. Well, right now it backfires a lot under load, but we did a lot of work on it, and I think it's just that the carbs probably just have to be adjusted. It was running quite well previously. It idles fast though, and so I'm not sure if the jets are sticking, or if there's something else off it. But it runs well, but on acceleration. Well, and now it coughs and backfires and really loses power, but I think that's a mixture thing. But even before that, it would hesitate on acceleration. I'd pop the throttle and I'd go, say, okay, I think I'll accelerate now.
The carbs on your car are HD8s. The D stands for diaphragm. And in the bottom of the carburetor, there's a neoprene or fabric and rubber diaphragm. They are prone to failure. And when they fail, fuel drips out of the bottom of the carburetor quite copiously. 25 years, I'd say it would be a really good time to have a look at those. There's also a fast idle rod on the side of that carburetor. When you pull the choke out, the rod rises and speeds the idle up. And they are very prone to seizing in the carburetor body.
Okay.
So after 25 years on HD8s, I'd be very tempted to say, yes, they're well worth rebuilding. And you can get very, very good rebuild kits from Berlin services in the UK. They're almost everybody buys them from them, and they are very good quality. Burlen.
Ground surfaces.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Michael, what's your thought about do it yourself? You're
You
comfortable
could
doing
do
that?
it yourself. It takes time and patience, and a few not so special tools. You do have to have some BSF wrenches.
Those carburetors are a bear to take off.
Yeah.
You have to get underneath the manifold with your hand bent in 3 different positions, trying to get the nuts off that hold them on.
Yeah, they are very hard to get off. I have a special wrench I've made for it.
Okay.
I do
Which
too,
works
but
very well.
there's washers. You need to put the flat washer and the lock washer back on also.
I've got some a set of BA wrenches and sockets and
BA or BSF?
BA and a BA and a
BSF.
Okay, and I've got the BA spanner set.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Okay, and are there some manuals that you would recommend, or is there someone who's got a good YouTube University channel where they do this kind of stuff? It'd be nice to see it done.
Don't know.
Or should we do, or Pete, should we do it at your place?
Well, you're more than welcome to use my shop for that. You may take an Uber home. We'll see. But
what I could do, I could drive it down, and Kathy could take one of the Subarus because they're
there you
reliable.
go.
It's not a one-day job.
Okay. Well, from what I remember, Pete, you've got plenty of room, unless your friends in the UK.
So there is a guy named Esposito, John Esposito, Quantum Motors in Connecticut, that specializes on rebuilding SU carburetors.
John specializes in transmissions.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're absolutely right, Bob. My
You're
mistake.
thinking of Joe Curto.
Joe Curto,
Yeah.
Long Island. Yeah.
My bad. Yep. So Bob, what's your recommendation in terms of attempting to rebuild versus having him sent out to Joe Curto?
The time involved in rebuilding carburetors, I found, is just getting them clean. You take them off the car, it's arduous work. Disassembling them, you only want to do one at a time, so you always have the second one to compare when you're trying to put the first one back together. and then you need a solution to clean them with. And it's a 24 to 48 hour dipping process to soak all the parts to get all the sludge and lacquer and grease, et cetera, off of them. And then probably a couple hours of working with a cloth and some carb cleaner to get the last of it off. So it's a time consuming process. If you do it piece by piece, and if you go on YouTube, I think you'll find some pretty good videos about it. I know I've seen one on YouTube by Moss, and they do a pretty good job with those kind of things.
Moss does a pretty good
Yeah,
job.
yeah.
I don't think Joe Curto, I've never seen any YouTube video that he might have up, but he'd be taking business away from himself. But he has good kits.
Okay. Yeah, because I am familiar with some of the Moss the Moss University stuff, and they're really good. Explains it very, very well. Okay.
So Bob Abbott, what is the solution that you recommend for soaking the carburetors in for 24 to 48 hours?
I use a product. It's a carburetor soaking solution by Barrel, Berril, I think.
Okay.
I think that's the name of it. Comes in a 1 gallon can with a little dip bucket in it. And I just disassemble. You probably need 3 cans to be able to put all the parts of one carburetor in the solution at one time, because the buckets aren't that large. It's $50 a gallon or something like that. So
Oh.
if you're only going to do it once, you might just want to send them off to have somebody like Joe Curto do it, or I don't know.
Another thing that
I don't
actually
think-
works quite well is an ultrasonic cleaner.
And
Good, yeah.
with what sort of solution in the ultrasonic cleaner?
The one I used was Dawn liquid, about a 50-50 mixture of Dawn and water.
Yeah. Yeah, run it through your dishwasher a few times.
Amazing how effective it was.
Really?
Yeah.
But
And there
but
is another product out there. It's made by Gum Out. It comes in a gallon can also,
Yeah,
and
that's
it's
great, too.
for dipping carburetors in.
Okay.
and
And any auto parts place has that, Ken?
Most any parts place will have the Gum Out. Yep.
and
Okay.
the fellow's name is Joe Curdo, Curdo,
Yes.
and he's in Long Island. Sorry.
Curto, and he's actually in Queens, I think, but yes, New York. And it's Superior Auto Parts, I think, is actually the name of the company. No, that's not right. But if you Google Joe Curto, you'll get it. But there's a company name also.
Okay. All right. Yeah, because I'm figuring our driveway that they haven't been touched in this century, and kind of why not? Like that, I can't see any downside to taking them out and having them professionally done. Is there any dissenting opinion on that?
So I'm sharing my screen now. So this is the Healey resource section there. I've now put it out onto an Excel file. So here's Joe Curto, Carburetor Works, College Point, New York. It says Long Island.
Okay.
I'm not sure, Kevin, if that's different or not now, but
Okay.
and then is anyone
College Point
familiar?
still works.
Okay. And is anyone familiar with this Pal Tech Technologies in Brunswick, Ohio? Someone had recommended them for carburetor work as well. Okay, guess not. But so while we're at it, just to let you know, so this is now out on our members only section of the website. One of the things that we're also looking at on a national basis, this was done within HCA New England. We're now clearly, I've added in here in terms of what state it's in. So it identifies they're not all in New England, obviously. Here's this brake master cylinder out in Sanger, California. So we're identifying where these vendors are. We've included their website. We've included a name of contact when available, phone numbers, email when available. And then also if they have other specialties for that. So this has been, you're the first to see this. This has just been updated in the past couple of days. So if there are others that you would like to have included in this in our Healy resources and services, please send me those details. Again, we're saying we're not endorsing these per se. We're not directly recommending them, but all of these that we have here have been recommended by our members through the years. So if there's any others that you have that you'd like to have included, please drop me those details and we'll keep this updated. Also to let you know, also, it was something that we're looking to do on a national basis, or really both Canada and the US, to expand this to for suppliers, not just in the Northeast, but suppliers across the country. So like I said, it's out on our website, and under the members only section on the Healy Service, this used to be a Word document. And again, we converted it now to an Excel file to make it easier. You can filter, you can sort, and all those sorts of things to make it much more effective. I know we've talked in the past about British Vacuum, Rob Medinsky, a number of times with British Vacuum. He's in Canterbury, New Hampshire, so that just happens to be an example to come up with those. But so it's sorted category alphabetically, and then you can filter on any one of those. And so if anyone else has any thoughts, so you go to our members only section of the website, and again, the password is very simple. It's HEALEY lowercase. To be able to have access to that. And there is both this Excel file as well as a PDF file that you can do a search on that as well. So those are now out on our website.
You have to have the Excel program, Pete.
No, you can just you can pull it in, Ted.
What was the top one there, Peter?
You mean top what?
The top listing?
Category. The first, column A is category. Is that what you mean by top listing?
No, I was wondering what the first location was.
What, that Gilbert?
Number one.
That's drive shafts. So
Well,
again, this is. So I'm just going to pull it up now. So it's alphabetical. We start with bearings, brake master cylinders, and so forth. So where we were looking at it again was carburetors. So that's where Joe Curto was. And then we also had someone has recommended this Plain Technology in Brunswick, Ohio, for carburetors.
Okay, well, the reason I asked you that was this bearing distributors in Troy, New York. They're only
Yes.
about 6 or 7 miles from me, and that's an outstanding place. I've got a 26 Franklin, and they actually found wheel bearings for me.
Wow. Okay. Okay. Well, that's a good endorsement. We like endorsements or recommendations like that, Ken.
And one other thing, just so he knows what kind of money if he goes to Joe Curto. I had my carburetors for my BN2, shipping included. It was $700.
Does the BN2 have 2 carbs or 1?
2.
2, okay.
Yeah, and I think my AMG was 650 or 700. And somebody else confirmed the College Point is the right address, but just I had made a mistake. The name of the company, which you don't need, but it's British Superior, is Joe Curto.
I just did a Google search for Joe Curto and it popped right up.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, he's great. You call, he'll answer the phone. If he doesn't answer the phone, he'll call you back, and he'll tell you when you're putting them back in. Give me a call, and I'll help you through it if you don't. But I'll also say, if you're doing it yourself, take a lot of pictures before you take them out.
Yeah, here for the SU carburetors, what type is on our Healy's? Healy HS4, is that what we have?
No, you got a BJ8, right?
Yeah.
HD8s.
Okay, here it is. The HD type for Jaguar, Healy 3000, Daimler, $800 for the pair.
That ties in exactly what someone else said.
Yeah, it's good. So it's with an experimental error. Perfect. Now all I'll have to do is figure out how to get the damn things off. I guess the Sawzall will do it.
Not if you want to put them back in.
Well,
Right.
It'll probably be 3 months, and they'll come with oil and be ready to be installed.
That's the lead time, 3 months? Is that what Curtis
The
going
last
right now?
time I checked, it was 3 months. It depends on the time of the year, of course. When everybody's got the cars down, that's when it's the longest.
Okay. Other questions or comments?
My name is Laura Logan. My mother is on here as well, Lois Logan. She's had a 54 BN1 since 1960, and I'm going to be inheriting it when she finally decides to give it up. Which I expect, well, not to be soon, but trying to get ready for it. So
Good.
it's in pretty much original condition. The engine's been overhauled a couple of times. The last time was about 30 years ago. So it's going to need a bunch of work. So I'm going to have to start learning how to do all this stuff. But one of the questions that I had, and it's thinking, it's kind of a little heretical, probably to you guys. But has anybody talked about doing electric conversions on these cars? We're not interested in going concourse. I'm not interested in trying to sell it for 1.4 million and everything. I just like to be able to drive it reliably and easily. And I was just kind of wondering if that's even something that's worth thinking about.
Well, Laura, what state are you in?
I'm in Montreal, in Canada.
Okay. Oh, great. Well, thanks for the question. Thanks for joining us today, Laura. So I'm not sure there's a guy called Dave Silverclight, Bug Eye Guy in Connecticut. He's done 3 different conversions of Sprites to electric.
Okay.
I'm not aware, maybe others on the call, I'm not aware of anyone big Healys that have been converted, but maybe there are. Anyone aware of any big Healys that have been converted to electric?
Now, a question: what do you mean by converted? Put an electric motor in it, or converting it from positive ground to negative ground, or
no Tesla?
Yeah, to go to be a battery powered car.
Okay. Wow.
Pete, I have not seen anybody here in the U.S., but I was in the U.K. at Goodwood last year, and there was a company that had a BT7 that they had electrified. That's all they do, and they had a Ferrari and some other stuff. Well, there are people. I took a picture of it, but can't remember the name of the company. But
okay.
Complete electric, big Healy.
This is Bruce Olson. There's a company called Moment Motors. I was listening to a podcast recently, and they were being interviewed by some guys, I think, in Motor Trend. They have a Motor Trend has a thing on sort of the future cars. I can't remember the name of the podcast, but they were interviewing this guy from Moment Motors, and I think they've done some Healys. They've done a number of Mercedes Pagodas and a ton of Porsches.
Yeah.
But you could look up this Moment Motors. I think maybe they're out in California or something. I'm not sure where they're located, but if you look up this, boy, I wish I could remember the name of the podcast by Motor Trend, but it was very interesting. Just Google, Motor Trend, Moment Motors podcast. Maybe you'll find it.
Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Well, where in Montreal are you?
On the West Island.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going up this weekend to visit my mom in town, Mount Royal.
Okay.
That's where I'm from.
Just be really careful. We're getting wicked snow on Thursday, so I don't know when you're planning to travel.
It's going to come up Friday morning, but I have a Subaru, so it's like whatever.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Laura, just curious as it relates to, so is this because you like electric cars? Is there, or in terms of your BN1, how is it a runner?
Yes.
Can you drive it?
Yeah, my mom drives it.
Oh, great.
She's on the call here. What'd you do? 10, 15, 20, 30 trips this year? I don't know. She just
Wow, great.
goes out and cruises around in it and enjoys it. But it's going to become harder and harder to maintain over the years, especially with my knowledge. And so I was thinking that this might be a way to make it easier for me to maintain. And might actually give us a little bit more ground clearance too, if I can get rid of the muffler.
True statement.
Yeah, Moment Motors is in Austin, Texas.
There is a 2025 Austin-Healey 3000 that is being manufactured and brought into the States that is an electric vehicle.
For $600,000.
Kind of out of my price range.
Well, Laura, in all honesty, the conversion to an electric car is far greater than what the value of the car is going to be. I think, that guy who was doing the Sprites, I think that was over $100,000 to convert a Sprite to an electric car, and he was using Tesla batteries. It was basically a Tesla with a Sprite body.
Yeah.
He's done 3 of them, and he loves them. They're significantly faster and presumably more reliable. But it's that's a pretty big undertaking.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that over the course of time, until I actually have to make the decision, the price might come down and it might make it a little bit more comparable.
Luck with that.
Just wanted to get an idea of the possibilities that are out there. That's all.
One suggestion, Laura.
Yeah.
I started in Healey's many, many years ago, and I started by reading the factory workshop manual from cover to cover 2 or 3 times.
Yeah.
And that will give you an incredibly good insight into the maintenance of your mum's car.
Okay, thank you.
Well worth the effort.
Yeah.
And Laura, we have these calls once a month, and you get a wealth of knowledge and experience here on this call. We've been doing this for over 5 years. So if there are questions that come up that either your mom have, and we can provide you, as you've heard already tonight, provide you with resources and places where you can look to find information there. So I can understand how you maybe feel daunting. I think it would be even more daunting to convert it to electric power.
Okay.
Is my opinion.
and probably more expensive than having someone in the area who is reliable and can help you work on it.
Okay. Thank you very much for your comments.
Yep.
Really appreciate
I'll do some digging, but mine actually came from Dorval, and there's a fellow there who actually had a mobile shop, and he maintained the car before I bought it.
Okay, cool.
And Laura, do you know our president, Roger Hamel?
My mother probably does.
Yeah. So he lives there in Montreal.
Yeah.
He's the one that has, for the past 25 plus years, did the F1 parade laps, and unfortunately, those are no longer being done, unfortunately.
No,
but he was the one that facilitated that with the Quebec Club. But he has a wealth of knowledge of people in Quebec that can help service the car as well.
Great, thank you.
You're welcome. Other questions?
I have a question, Pete.
Hey, Bruce.
Yeah, I was wondering if anybody's had experience with the stainless steel bumpers, that polished stainless steel bumpers that they're making in Vietnam, and if I should be discouraged from doing that, or I know that I guess H Spares makes a fairly good repro chrome bumper, but I saw one for a Triumph that looked pretty nice, but I was reading online. I think Mike Salter said he posted sometime that he had some trouble with the vendor over there or something, but I was wondering if anybody had any experience with that.
I've read some stuff on the Triumph, communication stuff, and from what I vaguely recall, that the reviews were were not bad. You know, I didn't hear any negative reviews. I didn't, you know, but aside from just mentioning, but that was on the Triumph stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Has anyone actually seen one or only pictures or felt one or actually touched one?
I've seen a pair of 100 bumpers. I wasn't that impressed. The shape was wrong, frankly.
That's what I've heard too, is that the shape, I did see some Triumph ones, and the guy that had them didn't have the Healey bumpers, but he said he compared them against the ones he had for BJ8, and they look pretty good. He said the overriders were not quite exactly the same shape, but he said that didn't bother him too much, because unless you compared them side by side, you wouldn't be able to tell. But yeah, the curvature is an issue because, you know, with the, you know, the skirt on the front and stuff, you want, and the shape of the body, you want it to fit.
So Bruce, why are you considering this?
Well, it looked pretty nice. I don't know, you know, I've seen some sort of chintzy chrome ones. You know, I guess, you know, maybe the thing to do is just order the ones from Bite the Bullet and order the ones from AH Bears and call it a day. But you know, they intrigued me, and I was just wondering if anybody had actually experienced them firsthand. So
I
Bob
needed
Buell, how's the quality of the reproduction bumpers from a head for Healey's?
Oh, they are okay. AH Spares makes two qualities of bumper. They make a regular one, which is equivalent to head for Healey's, and then they make a premium one, which is very good, and that's the one that we always buy.
Mm-hmm.
Premium one.
The premium one, yeah.
Yeah.
Assuming you
Bruce,
have
you got a beautiful car. I wouldn't want to sacrifice.
Right.
You're doing an awesome job with that car. You wouldn't want to have the first thing you see a chintzy bumper.
Right.
Yeah, because that's the first thing you see.
Yeah.
I couldn't get a front bumper for my MG during COVID. I could get the rear bumper, and I had the front re-chromed, and it wasn't much more than what Moss was charging if it was in stock. So if you can find a place that can re-chrome it, assuming you have the bumper, that's an option also.
I do have the front bumper. I don't have the rear, and the front is kind of like, yeah, they're going to have to do a little bit of straightening too, besides re-chrome.
No, then I don't know what'll happen with that.
Yeah.
The chrome shop might not want to do that.
Right.
We found that chroming now is much more expensive than replacement. And particularly with bumpers, very, very few chroming shops will even tackle bumpers because they don't have a big enough tub. And they certainly won't do any repairs to them.
Well, fortunately, I live in New Jersey, where there's still a fair amount of shops around. But you're right, you know, they're few and far between.
Yeah. Yeah, the chrome surround for the grill and the little grill up above it, Mark sent out and got re-chromed for my car, and I think it was pretty close to $1,000 for those two pieces. It's like, wow. Yeah. Crazy.
Are there recommended places to send stuff for chroming?
He used a guy, I think, on somewhere near in Massachusetts, I think, South Shore somewhere or something, but I don't remember the name of the place, but it took a while. It took a few months to get it back. A couple months.
We don't have a Chrome supplier on our database, so if anyone's got a recommendation of a good Chrome supplier, please let me know. We'll add it to the file.
Pete, this is Kenny.
Yeah, Ken.
We use Paul's Chrome in Erie, and Librandi is near Harrisburg at the International Airport.
Great.
They're running about 13 weeks.
Wow.
Yeah.
And they do bumpers and everything, straightening,
Okay.
you name it.
Yeah, I'd like to get the bezel around my 100 grill done because it's all the original grill and the bars in the center are beautiful. It just needs to be freshened up on the chrome, and the same thing for the windshield surrounds, and you can't buy them. So that's why I was interested.
So Bruce, it sounds like maybe the premium reproduction from AH Spares may be a good way to go.
Yeah. Okay, great. One other question I had was, originally I was planning to use, like Dynamat to put underneath my carpeting. And Mark LeBlanc said he doesn't like that because it can trap water underneath and then you get, rust the floorboards underneath that. And I guess what he uses is a 1/4-inch closed cell foam that he puts underneath. And I was wondering what people use for, heat and sound deadening.
This is what I did on my Spitfire. I got a new transmission tunnel cover. The original ones were cardboard, so I got the plastic one, and the entire interior is Dynamat, and most of the exterior is Dynamat. I too was hesitant to put on the floor exactly that for water entrapment, but what I did is that the carpeting I got was the formed carpeting by Newton Commercial, so it's actually heat formed, and I put the Dynamat on the carpet itself.
Oh.
With the aluminum facing the firewall, and I can't help but think that it can't hurt. The main thing, of course, was the carpet. It was the Dynamat on the inside of the transmission tunnel cover. When I had the fiberglass tunnel cover of my BJ8 out, because I was doing some work on it, I completely did the inside with hush matted Dynamat or one of those self-adhesive things, and I can't. It certainly can't hurt. To do the floor, yeah, that'll help. But if at the very least, if you do the inside, and even if you have extra the outside of the transmission tunnel cover, you're going to be cutting down a lot because that's surface area. That's almost more than the floor area.
Right. Yeah.
But if I make a suggestion on that, we've been using lizard skin for a number of years. We picked up on that from street rod shows. It's a water mixed material. It sprays on. They make one for heat resistance, and they make one for sound. And a demonstration, they spray the inside of a frying pan, put it on a hot plate, and put an ice cube in it, and it just sits there. It doesn't melt.
Wow.
And it's a lot easier to put on a car. You spray it on. They have a special spray gun, so you don't need to worry about all the gaps and nooks and crannies. It fills everything in there. One thin layer, and it's great. It's easy to put on. It's easy to clean up. It's a heck of a lot better than cutting little pieces of things and trying to get them in there.
Well, and don't forget that noise is vibration. So anything that deadens vibration cuts down noise. But even if you just do the inside of the transmission cover, you'll probably find that is significant.
Well, the muffler's right under the floor, and it heats everything around it. The outriggers. I mean, have you ever touched your ashtray?
Yeah. You can cook an egg on it.
Yeah.
Oh,
What
hell,
was
I
that
burned
product?
my leg
What
on my
product
granny
was that,
doll.
Ken? What product, Ken?
Lizard skin.
Lizard skin. Thank you.
Kenny, how long you been utilizing lizard skin?
Probably
Quite some time.
Probably 7, 8 years.
Okay, great.
There's also
Bruce,
a company.
Go ahead, Ted.
There's also a company called Koolmat, Koolmat, that I know has sponsored some of the conclaves, and they have they've been around many years. They have a restoration kit category, and they have pre-cut installation kits, including for Heelys, Triumphs, Jags, and that's something you might want to look into.
Okay.
No idea what the price is, but they look pretty comprehensive when I did look at them. I didn't use one, but it was after mine was done, so that's something else to consider.
Yeah, the nice thing about the Dynamat is that it's got like very thin butyl rubber, and the aluminum backing is very malleable, so you can really it's almost plastic. You could form it to there's no resistance to it being formed to all sorts of complex curves, and even if you put in a variety of very small pieces, they'll essentially meld together, and you won't notice any overlaps, because it's under the carpet too. But I think what I did on the Spitfire is say I put on the back of the carpet, and so there's nothing glued to the floor, and precisely because I have water entrapment.
And Bruce, what are you doing for an interior?
I actually, so I got enough of the seats and stuff were in rough shape that I was ordering all the parts from AH Spares and also the interior. So I asked them, could you actually upholster the seats and send them to me upholstered? And so they did.
Oh, great.
And they look pretty good. I mean, I don't know if they're quite as good as Jeff Chrysler, but they're a lot less expensive, and the quality is good. I mean, the fit probably isn't, as drum tight as Jeff Chrysler would do, but I'm happy. So once I get that, get the carpet in and put the seats in, I'm getting there. And then I've got somebody lined up locally that's going to help me do the top. I've actually got the top in, and I resprayed the frame and everything. So that's going to be the last thing really before I'm ready to take it out on the road, I think.
You're getting close.
Yeah.
Last time we saw the car. Go ahead, Ken. Sorry. Bob Easterbrook, were you at something?
Oh, no, it wasn't me.
Oh, sorry. Okay, sorry.
Yeah, no, I was just saying I've got the hood on my Heeley is in pretty good shape, but because if people do recover them, which brand or source do you use?
Drive careful. Thank you.
I ordered the top from AH Spares. I had heard different people saying that the Robbins tops fit pretty well, and that the canvas looks great, but the Everflex is a lot easier. Was it called Everflex or the other? I can't remember the name of it.
Yeah.
The vinyl tops are easier to put on the frame than the canvas.
So you have an upholsterer that's going to install it for you?
Yes. Yep.
Great.
And he's actually going to come to my house, so that's kind of nice because I got a
excellent
up there, so he'll come in and work right there.
So you think you'll be on the road this year?
I sure hope so. That's my
Great.
goal. It's been a long time.
Well, it looked great a year ago when we were up at March, so I'm sure you've made a lot more progress in the past year too.
Yeah, they did a beautiful job with the painting and fitting the doors and everything, and yeah, it's great. So I'm excited.
Excellent. Good. Any more questions tonight?
Just getting back on Coolmat, I was looking at the website and thinking from when I contacted them about sponsorship. But in 2009, June issue of Heeley Mark, they had a feature in there about them. Somebody put a Coolmat kit in their car or something. So if you went and found that, it might be some good information for you. And it was June 2009 issue, if you happen to have one around,
All right, great. I'll take
But
a
I
look.
think that was on their website also.
Great.
Thanks, Ted.
Yeah.
Peter, I have a question.
Please. Hey,
I've
Peter?
got a small hole in my windshield, a BJ8. It's about the size of a fingertip, and it's not all the way through, and it hasn't started spidering out. And I'm wondering what people would recommend to sort of seal that up and make it more secure.
So this is a hole in your windshield, Peter?
Well, it was a pebble that must have
Okay.
hit the windshield. It's not inside of the viewing, so I don't think it's going to affect getting an inspection sticker, but it's a fairly significant little hole.
Well, under Massachusetts insurance, you just kind of have it done. Doesn't cost anything.
Except I bought the car like that.
Who cares? They're not going to know. All I have to do is tell your insurance company that I've got this car and the windshield's got a ding on it. They'll say, okay, take it to whoever. No fuss, no muss, no bother. I did with the Subaru I had a while ago, and they just said just take it.
So Peter, I'm again showing the website in terms of the glass replacement. We've got two different ones, one in Raynham and one in Attleboro. I realize those aren't in Framingham, but those are both. And I think Ken Glidden, you're on. I think you gave us the recommendations on one or both of these. So there are some recommendations for glass replacement companies in Massachusetts.
Pete, do they do a repair or just replace?
I'm not sure.
And I will tell you that the glass shop that I use in New Jersey for cars in general tells me that there are, if it's something you can repair, not replace, you can get something at AutoZone or whatever that does a pretty good job. If you just want to make sure it doesn't spread, it fills in, it's not going to get dirty.
So I did pick up a thing called Permatex. I haven't used it. I was wondering if anybody had ever used that Permatex windshield.
I haven't, but that sounds familiar.
Yeah, I used one on one of my Sprites. I had a small one, and it filled it in. It has not cracked any further. I did it several years ago. It didn't disappear. You can still see it, but it worked. I don't remember the brand, but I bought it at Advanced Auto.
Yeah, even if you pay somebody to repair it, you'll see it, but it'll be a lot less, and it won't spider.
Exactly. Yeah.
Just for laughs, call your insurance company and just say, "Hey, I've got a crack in my windshield, and that's under Massachusetts insurance. It doesn't matter. They don't even care when you got it. Just say I've got a crack in the windshield, and they'll say, fine. We'll cover it. Not a problem. Just take it to whoever." Yeah,
So
no
Peter,
question.
have you? And I know you're recently a Healy owner. That's great, and thank you for joining our call again. Have you? Is the car insured yet?
Oh yeah, it is insured. Yeah.
And did you do it through a classic car company?
Haggerty.
Great.
Yep.
Okay. Perfect. Okay. I didn't want to know if you did the same company you did your regular cars with. No, you did it absolutely correctly.
Yes, I agree.
Oh, good.
Yep.
Good.
Okay. Other questions tonight?
Thank you.
You're welcome. So we're gonna have a bit of a change. Hopefully you guys can see my screen. So our next technical call is going to be on a Saturday, March 8th. It's also going to be our AHBS session, our first one of 2025. This started with Rick Neville. So we're going to have a video tour of Bill Rawles' classic cars in the UK.
Oh, cool.
So Bill and his son Jack, some of those who came to our session here in Mansfield a couple of weeks ago, you met Bill, or you may have met him at Summit in 2018. But they're going to do a tour of their shop. They have the largest Healy restoration business in the UK. They've got over 50 cars in their shop. So they're going to do a video tour of that, and then afterwards allow for Q&As. We're doing it on a Saturday morning because if we do it on Saturday, or excuse me, a Monday night here, that'd be midnight there. And I know Mike Hirsch, you met Jack at his shop last year and
Yes.
have a chance to see it in person. But this is gonna be a chance for us, like Bill Rawles is also gonna be one of he's gonna sponsor for Summit this year. He's sponsoring the trip to Martha's Vineyard on the Monday of Summit on September 29th. But so I will be posting this. So you will get an email on this. So it's going to be Saturday, March 8th at 9 a.m.
And when are you going to be starting the sessions, the morning sessions at your garage?
Well, our next one is March 1st. We're going to be replacing the clutch in Ted Stanton's car. So if you want to book something for April, Mike, give me a call or send me a note.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Yeah, because I'll be away beginning of March, but the April I should be able to make. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, we're doing that.
What date would you be thinking of doing it in April? Do you normally do it the first weekend? Or?
I'm not sure. I got to look at the calendar. I don't know. I don't know my schedule. So let me know when you're back and we can. But again, as you've heard tonight, Mike, it sounds like this is going to be a multiple day process.
Yeah.
This is not going to be in and out in a Saturday.
Right. Yeah. So bring it down, get picked up, or take it out and even here and just send it to Curto. That's possible too.
Yep.
I'll give him a call tomorrow and see what his lead time is.
Okay. That's good. Well, thank you all for your time this evening, and appreciate the question. We appreciate some of the new folks who have joined us for the first time. We got 35 on the call, and hopefully you enjoyed the discussions. Again, we do record this. It is put out on our YouTube, Facebook channel, and then we also post it on our website. So if there's any questions that came up, you'll be able to refer to that. So again, Ken Gibson talked about those books from that are available for specialists in the Healey's, and then we talked about the new focus as it relates to our services for Healey's. We have that on the website, so we continue to make some enhancement and improvements for hopefully for your enjoyment of the club. So thank you all, and have a great week, and we'll see you on Saturday, March 8th at 9 a.m. Thank you, guys.
Pete, as always, thanks a
Very
lot.
nice. Thank you.
You're welcome,
Peter.
Thanks, Peter.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Take care.
Thanks,
Thank
Pete.
you, Peter.
You're welcome, Dutcha.
Yeah.
Take care.
Thank you,
See you
Peter.
next time.
You bet. Thanks, Charlie.
You're welcome. Bye, Peter.
Bye-bye.